Welcome back to the Transplanting Podcast. My name is Bear, joined by the lovely Daphne.
See, I like it so much better when you start than when I start. You started up so well. Today, we have a personal friend of mine. Her name is Anna, and she is here to kind of share some of her story and some of her experiences. So I'm just going to let her kind of introduce herself.
Hello.
Hi.
My name's Anna. I have been in the medical field now for 20 years. I currently work as an RN for the last 8 years. I absolutely love what I do. I feel very blessed to do what I do and to love it so much. I am an ally of the community, so I think it's important to have conversations that we may be uncomfortable having in order to encourage others to not be afraid to have those conversations as well.
I love that. That's something Bear and I were actually talking about before you got here, was that, silence is empowering, silence is tolerance rather than intolerance, I guess would be a better way to say it. So, yeah. It's great, though, that we get people like you to come on the podcast and share some of your expertise and feelings like that.
Yeah, it's just, more positivity and more hope and all of the good feels.
Yes,
We
absolutely.
absolutely need more of that.
Love that. So I guess let's start off. You're a nurse now. You did it for
Yes.
20 years. What drew you into the field?
Well, I've been working as an RN for 8 years. I started out actually as a medical assistant, just in the office, and kind of worked my way through. Decided after doing 7 or 8 years of that, I really liked it, and I wanted to go further. It really, honestly, I was kind of a lost teenager. I didn't really know anybody that had been through college. I'm
wow.
a first generation college student, so that was difficult to navigate for me at first. Luckily, I found some good people along the way to help me out. And so I kind of just chose medical assisting because I had a family member who was doing that, and it was something that was better than part-time retail hours, and maybe I could get a job with benefits, and some job security out of it. And it turned out it was just perfect for me. So I'm
love
really
that.
glad it was a good choice because it was really accessible financially for me at the time. It was something that wasn't, a 4-year college that you were committing to something you weren't sure you were going to like.
Fair.
So I feel blessed to have taken that step. And once I decided that this is something I wanted to do forever, I decided to go to nursing school. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but I'm really glad I did it.
That's good. You're just like glowing as you tell me these things, and I just love that.
It's been a journey to get me here, but I'm really glad. It was hard. It's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And I'm still amazed when I look back at how I made it through, that I made it through. Because when you're living that lived experience, it doesn't feel like you're going to get there. It feels really discouraging sometimes. It feels really large and bigger than you and overwhelming. And I'm proof that if you work hard and, have enough people in your corner to help you through, it's possible.
Well, and I think that's so relatable, and something that isn't solo. I don't know. It's not a lived experience that resides solely with cis people.
Yeah.
This is something that everybody goes through. Things like having the people in your corner to help you succeed is something that even trans people need, and it's not solo to school. Any part of life that pretty well.
And it's, I think, hard to recognize when you're living it that you're not the only one that's living hard times, because it's so overwhelming. And it's important to reach out to the people that we love to let them know that we are there.
Yeah.
Because those are the things that really made a difference for me.
Well, and that's why we started this podcast in the first place. I came out 3.5 years ago, something like that. I came out, and what I really needed was people with me and around me, and I didn't have that. And so, I don't know. It's been a really rough couple of years, and I needed information that didn't exist. None of this existed. Yes.
I think it can be there, but I think it is something you really need to seek out a lot of times,
Right.
whether that be for your instance or something else.
Right.
I think just having things accessible are so necessary for people.
Right, and that's why we started the podcast in the first place. Was for that very scenario. What? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
You said before we started. You said you are currently in surgery
Yes.
and that part of the
Yes, I get people ready for
Field.
surgery. So when you go in for your surgery and they're asking you when's the last time you ate and drank and who's driving you home, that's me. I'm the first face you meet after you check in when you come back and get your gown on and get all ready. That's what I do.
do you help when they're waking up too?
I do. Yeah.
That's fun. I had a surgery back in like 2015 for my knee. I had tore my MCL, whatever, and they knock you out for it. And then when I was waking up, you're just so out of it,
Yes.
and like you can hear the beeping of the monitors in the background, that kind of thing. And I realized like I could hear my own heart, whatever, and I could
my
hear
goodness.
it go with the monitor. And so I realized like if I just kind of calm my brain down, I could slow down the beating on it. And so I would make it go down until it was about to just flatline on it.
Brain body connection.
Yeah, and it's wild because I would sit there and do it, make it go. My ex would be freaking out. She's like, "Oh my God!" And the nurse was like, "Daphne, wake up, wake up!" And I'd sit there. You could hear do 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 do, and then it would slow down again. I was just being a little turd.
That's why we keep you on the monitor. You have to keep eyes on everything.
Fair enough. Did you start off in surgery?
I actually, when I was working as a medical assistant, I worked for a clinic, a very large clinic, that had a surgery center, an ambulatory surgery center, day surgery, on the second floor. And when I decided to go back to school for nursing, I told my boss, I said, I'm going to come work for you on the second floor. I want to be a nurse, and I want to be down there doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so I always kind of started my nursing journey knowing that that's where I wanted to be, but I didn't go there immediately after I graduated. It was very important for me to be a really well-rounded nurse. And so I actually did over a year in just med surg, which they call.
I was like, "What's that?"
It's medical surgical. It's kind of all the things that don't really fit anywhere else. It could be someone that's coming up, they've been through the whole recovery room process in surgery at the hospital, and now they're being admitted to the floor. So you could have
Okay.
surgical wounds. You could have patients that are there for, maybe they have dementia and have to be monitored for like a UTI or something. So they have catheters. So I really wanted to be a well-rounded nurse. That was important to me. I want to be the best I can be. And so I forced myself, even though I knew it wasn't going to make me happy and satisfied, I forced myself to do a year of med-surg nursing because that's where you learn all your skills. That's where you get to do all of the catheters. That's where you get to do the NG tubes that go through your nose and into your stomach. That's where you get to use all of those skills. And so it was really important for me to have that experience because once you put yourself in something so specific as surgery, that's your entire skill set, if that's all you ever do.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure that I had experience doing kind of a wide range of things before I put myself into that corner. So I did just over a year in med surg, and then I went to surgery. But I always knew that's what I wanted to do. So
Fair enough. I guess trying to turn the conversation a little bit, like you have all this experience in being in the healthcare system. Trans people are coming through the healthcare system.
They are.
What?
more frequently.
Fair enough. What are some of the challenges that you're seeing with trans people in the healthcare system?
I think that there is still a lot of personal bias in healthcare providers, and that is to some extent not preventable. Everyone has a different lived experience and different, familiarity with trans people or queer people, and so I think that it's never going to be zero. So what I've done in my own personal practice is to advocate the best I can. It also, to me, when you're in surgery, that's kind of your most vulnerable. Lots of times you're only dressed with a gown. You are asleep for surgery, so you can't know or tell people if you're uncomfortable, if something's not right. And so when I started out in the surgery field, I knew that was something that was important to me, is that when these patients are not able to speak for themselves, that I'm going to be the one to do that. And I take that very seriously. And so advocation is part of that when I have maybe other people I'm working with who are misgendering people, whether it be on purpose or accident. None of us are perfect.
Yeah.
I make sure that I remind them, oh yeah, or maybe misnaming people, because a lot of times we'll have a different name on a chart, but they want to be recognized as a different name.
Yeah.
And so I will make sure that I say, oh yeah, remember she wants to go by Allison, and make sure that that's something that gets communicated, because I think that's really important.
Do the charts show preferred names?
Yes. So the system that I work with, the electronic medical records, it actually has a really cool pop-up that you can pop up, and it will say almost like an organ inventory. So and not everyone has it. I think it's something that you have to, as the patient, advocate for. But if you don't know it exists, you don't know that you need to do that. So you can populate that, and it will say, maybe you are recognized as a male at this point, however, you still own a uterus and you still need a pap smear or mammogram or whatever that might be. Or maybe those organs have been removed, and so it will say that. It will say, no uterus or whatever. So you kind of know going in how to approach it. And it's super helpful, but I don't know that everyone knows that exists.
Or that they're okay dealing with it in a professional way.
Yes.
Because they'll go in there and they say, oh, you're not really
Right.
what this is saying because you have the wrong organs. Or
I would hope no one would say that to you, but
I've had it happen.
that's a terrible thing, and I apologize. That's terrible.
Well, I mean, so do the medical records show sex assigned at birth?
Yes, but not always. I do think it is something that you can, as a patient, advocate for. And again, I think the accessibility factor of that, it's not always told that it is something that they have an option to do. But yes. Or sometimes it'll just be a simple name change. They'll, be Jeff on a chart, but they want to be known as, Stacy.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that's kind of your clue. But yes, there are parts in the medical record that you can indicate that. I just don't know that it's commonly known that you can do that you can request that of your medical providers, that's a choice and an option that you have, because it does reduce the amount of uncomfortable conversations that we have to have. My goal is not to embarrass you, but my goal is to give you the best care possible, and that unfortunately means we do have to address some of these things that are for your safety. So
does it change how you not approach, but does it change how you care for somebody if those don't match? Like is it so important to have sex assigned at birth on the records?
Yes. When you're in surgery, one of the first things we do is a pregnancy test for people that are capable of pregnancy. So we have really had to kind of iron out that terminology, because you can't make an assumption anymore on someone's outward appearance. And I've played with how I word it over the last couple years, and what I've kind of landed on is, for your age group, we would offer you a pregnancy test unless you did not own a uterus or are not having a menses. And so that's kind of what I've landed on. And owning a uterus sounds really kind of technical, but that's really what I'm asking is,
Right.
do you own a uterus? Are you capable of pregnancy? Regardless of your lifestyle, if you own one, I still would encourage you to do a pregnancy test for your safety.
Fair enough. I've been in the hospital before for other things totally unrelated, and the nurses will come in and go, "Hey, so are you pregnant?" And it's so affirming to me that they ask that, and I'm like, "Not since the last time I got tested, but if you want to test again, I'm totally down."
And I've even been asking people that, maybe I've met them before and maybe I'm familiar with them, but I try to really never make assumptions. So I say that to all of my patients across the board.
I love that, because I mean, even trans women, that's so affirming to just be asked that. Oh, I thought you were going for something there, Bear.
No. No, I'm fine.
I thought you were like raising your hand, but pick me.
No, just adjusting the stash.
Just gotta look good. Does what is shown on the medical records change how you approach a patient?
I'm very mindful of my wording because I want to be compassionate to that. I want to make sure that and we're all human. We all make mistakes. None of us are perfect. But I will make a conscious effort to address them how they wish to be addressed. So yes and no. It doesn't change how I care for them really in the medical sense, but I do make sure that I'm being very cognizant of what they would like and respecting that.
In your time studying, was gender identity covered in training, or is what you're saying just a you preference thing?
It was, but it's very broad.
Was that me? That was, I swear I put it on mute. It is back on mute.
We can cut that too.
It was, but it was very broad. And, you know, I went to school almost 10 years ago now, so it's probably much different now, I would hope, to be a larger portion of the study. It was kind of a one class blip paragraph, you know. So it was addressed, but not wholly.
Yeah.
It wasn't inclusive of everything, I think. And I think even in the last 10 years, hormone therapy has become way more common.
The amount of information.
The amount of information has become more common. So I'm sure what I was presented with 10 years ago would be, I would hope, a lot less than what they're teaching now.
Have they had like updated trainings or things like that cover that?
So in the state of Oregon, you do not need what we call continuing education credits, or CEUs. For your nursing license, I think you need like one pain credit or something. You have to go over pain, and I think they made us do one on like addiction or narcotics or something like that recently. But it's not like something you do routinely to keep your license when you renew your license every year. But it is part of my employer. So my employer has you do a certain number of CEUs to kind of keep current. So it's out there, and you have, you know, 1,000 topics to choose from. So you're not going to take that course and get those credits unless you seek it out. It's accessible if you want it to be. It's not a mandatory thing.
Fair enough.
But I consider it an easy A, so I always do it.
Easy A.
Easy A.
Have you ran into experiences where colleagues aren't affirming to patients?
I have had maybe only 1 or 2 instances where people have misgendered or misnamed people, and I don't necessarily think that it has been on purpose.
That's fair.
I think a lot of it is just we do it so infrequently, although it's been more frequent in the last couple of years that we've had patients come through that have had those markings on their chart that they want to be addressed differently than what they had been previously. And so how I look at it is just to be the patient's advocate, remind them, you know, oh, hey, this person didn't need a pregnancy test, you know, for this reason, or, you know, whatever it may be. I think out in the real world, you're more likely to encounter people that are saying degrading things or not being supportive of the community. And so even in those instances when I'm not at work, I still find it my responsibility is I'm not really a good ally if I don't say anything. So even if you say it in a joking manner, hey, I don't think we're supposed to say that. You know?
I mean, that's what happens with racist jokes, right?
Yeah.
If you don't, silence is tolerance.
Absolutely. It's complicity. And I recently had someone say the hard R word.
I
at
had to
work.
pause for a second. I'm like, what is it?
At work. And
that's not cool.
That was something, and it was more than one time in the same conversation and in front of people, many people. And I was the only one that was like, I don't think we're supposed to say that anymore. And like, I think that's a pretty inappropriate thing to say.
Right.
I was the only one out of like maybe 7 or 8 people that spoke up and said something, which was, I mean, I know it's an uncomfortable thing to say, to kind of address, but also it's so important because that's how we break the cycle.
Yes.
There has to be somebody to stand up to that.
I like that. I mean,
That is, you know, truly admirable that you were the only one out of this group of people.
Yeah, and we're all professionals, you know. This is, I don't know, I was, and maybe I was just the first. I like to give people grace and forgiveness where I can, so maybe I was just the first that felt confident enough to say something about it, but yeah, I was kind of surprised.
Good for you.
Have you noticed any or had any experiences without getting too personal? Have you had any experiences with trans people that you approached a topic in a certain way and they were just so excited that they were affirmed?
I actually had an experience a few weeks ago when I very first got my work badge at this place that I've been for a couple years now. The first thing I did was I got a pride, I got an ally sticker. So it has the flag and then it says ally on it, and I put it right where my name is. So anybody that looks at my name on my name tag knows that they are safe with me, that we can, they're in good hands. And I've had that on there for years now at this point, and I had a patient who was waking up from surgery, still a little cloudy headed, and then once they were leaving, they looked at me and they took a closer look at my badge and they said, "Thank you, I appreciate that." And that was the first time that I had really felt like it meant something to somebody.
Yeah.
Because I know it means something to me. I want you to know, if I'm taking care of you, that I have your back. I will stand up to all these people for you. I will be the one to advocate for you. I'm trustworthy. You're safe with me. You are my concern today. I'm here for you. And that was the first time that someone had, expressed to me that it was important to them too. So that was really nice. I enjoyed hearing that.
Oh, and I think you have to have that warm heart just to work in the medical field anyway.
You'd be surprised.
I mean, fair, but I don't know. Most of the nurses I come across are just the nicest people.
Nurses are great.
There's the difference. Nurses are good. The others aren't.
Nurses are great.
Yeah, I can't think of a time where I ever had a rude nurse or terrible doctor, anything like that. I've always had great luck with my team.
They say nurses are the #1 trusted profession for like 20 years now. Something like that.
Yeah.
So it is something that I think is a unique thing to a nurse. You have to have empathy. You have to have compassion for others. And when you take your oath to be a nurse, when you graduate, you were saying you were going to protect everybody, regardless. You're going to treat a prisoner the same way you would treat a mother of 5. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to be your jury. I'm here to care for you. And we have had, patients, I've cared for patients that have come through, with the system, the law system. And, while there's some people may have safety concerns, I've never experienced a bad experience with them, because that's not what I'm there for. I'm there to take care of you while you're in my care.
Have you noticed or had any time? Let's go with, have you had any times? Okay. A lot of trans people are really, I can't think of the word right now. They're really, I want to say really funny, but that's not the word. They're sensitive. They're really sensitive about their body parts, especially ones that don't match how they feel, right? Going into I cannot talk. Going into surgery, people are really vulnerable and in a vulnerable position. How do you work with people's body parts in a way that is affirming for them?
Well, I don't touch anybody's body parts, so that's kind of nice. I mean, unless you I guess, I don't know, or have a wound there, that might be the only exception. But I like to take a few minutes before we start kind of having you do the checklist of the things and get into the gown and do all the things and just say, "Hi, I'm Anna. I'm here to take care of you today," and kind of have a rapport going in. That way, when you do have to address those, it's not so weird, because I don't feel like a stranger to you. I think that's really important to kind of have a little camaraderie beforehand. And if I sense that there is any uncomfortableness with any body parts, or maybe they're there for a certain type of surgery that might be a sensitive area, I just let them know, I'm here for you today. So you just let me know what you need, because there may be times that they have to say something or speak up about something that's uncomfortable for them. So I just try and remind them that, I'm here for you.
I mean, and I love that. I'm just thinking, when you're getting so personal about stuff like that, you're getting into sensitive areas, right? People may not want to call a body part what it is. I don't want to say what it is, but anatomically, I don't know the right word here, but
genitals. I use the generic term genitals sometimes because it's very generic. It can apply to all of us. But in my area, I very rarely have to address that.
Okay.
myself.
So, fun question here. There's all the news articles about kids are going into school and coming back out with surgery.
Yes.
Are you guys rushing kids through surgeries?
The only pediatric surgeries I have been a part of in my personal practice is dental and maybe broken bones and maybe some knee injuries. That's it. I have not personally taken care of any minors that have had any kind of surgery to be gender affirming.
I feel like I've put you in the awkward spot now.
That was one I didn't expect. And I've actually thought about that. If I didn't have the opportunity to do what I do now, which I love so much, what other part of nursing might I enjoy? And I did think that gender affirming care would be something that I would be comfortable working in. I think it's an important, part of medicine. I think it's a constantly evolving part of medicine. And I'm a learner. I'm a lifetime learner. I love to learn. And you don't know what you don't know. So that would be something that I would be open to myself, just because I find it necessary and completely fascinating.
I love that. I'm going to ask a question. If you're not comfortable with it, tell me.
Okay.
Right now in the political spectrum, well, I mean, let me back up. You have all of these different medical associations that support gender affirming care in all the different, and I pulled up the list the other day with the internal medicine researcher. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's like 40 medical organizations that support gender affirming care. But then you have somebody like the president in the office that is so anti it, and they're pushing to ban gender affirming care. Personal opinion, not stating for a hospital, do you think that's something that's going to be affecting you guys in the future?
I think there's a lot of things currently that are troublesome about the administration today. And my personal, I think it could be something that we could struggle with in the future, and probably not the distant future, which is kind of scary for a lot of people. But it's kind of like Mr. Rogers. Was it Mr. Rogers who said, look for the helpers? And, there's always, where there's darkness, there's always helpers. So
I love that.
I just hope that there's enough helpers that we can, rally around each other and create safe community where it's necessary for the people that need it. Because there has to be more of us than them. And isn't that what we all want, is just to be loved and appreciated for who we are? I mean, I don't know. It just seems really basic to me. So when people are against it, it's really a hard thing for me to wrap my head around, because I think we all want that.
Yeah.
So I'm really hopeful that as long as there's enough light, the darkness can not totally take over.
I love that. I think that's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so beautiful. Do you personally see systems or practices in healthcare that are not gender affirming just based on how they're structured?
I think we've done a pretty good job of adapting where it's needed. Of course, there can always be improvements. I think a lot of for example, we talked about how 10 years ago was much different probably when I was going through school, what I was taught about gender affirming care or taking care of the queer community than it probably is now, just because so much more is known about it. There's a lot more research. It's more commonplace to encounter those type of patients. I think the generations that came before me really struggle with it still. And I really hope that the tide will change once those people retire out and we get some of these younger generations who have just lived it and it's just normal for them. There's always going to be a little bit of pushback from some people, but hopefully I really hope when we get these younger generations in and as part of the main part of the system, that will change. I grew up with a family who had extended family members, friends of the family that were part of the queer community growing up, and it was just normal. It wasn't a weird thing to me. It was just very normalized, and my Aunt Pat, wears boy clothes and is married to a woman. And it just wasn't weird. It was just who she was. And I loved her anyway. And so it wasn't really until I was maybe in middle school. And I think what did it for me, unfortunately, was the Matthew Shepard murder, where I realized how scared people must feel and how scary that must be and how unsafe people must feel. And that's so I remember even very early on being like, well, I'm not going to be part of the problem. I'm going to be part of the solution.
I love that. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed or seen any instances just in life in general where you find struggles that trans people are facing that you also, I don't want to say recognize, but also assimilate to yourself?
Resonate.
Resonate with yourself?
Resonate.
I think we're all living a human experience, and I think the human experience is crap. So,
Here.
Blunt and bold.
I grew up from a not wealthy family. I grew up, I was the first generation college student. I didn't even graduate from college until I was 33, somewhere in there. So, I've struggled myself, and I can't imagine having to struggle while also struggling through a gender crisis or, coming out and being so happy to be in my authentic self and then being rejected by the people that loved me. So I really have compassion for that because life is hard anyway.
Yes, it is.
We just need to be kind to everybody because everyone has their own struggles and lots of people don't talk about their struggles. And you might think, especially with social media now, that, their life looks great, but you're only seeing one side of the apple. The other side is rotten,
Oh, I love that. It's so deep.
So I think we're all living a human experience, and I think we are better off working together to get through it than dividing and conquering separately because it's just so hard out there.
I just feel this deep sense of love coming from you. Like you shine as you talk about this stuff.
I don't know. That's kind of where I live. I like to live in the love.
I love that. That should be a new sticker.
Live in the love.
Live in love. Yeah.
I also grew up with a hippie dad, so that's probably a lot of it. Although he, is one of those boomer guys that I've had to kind of rope around and be like, Dad, you can't say that, or yes, she goes by Michelle, even though she has a beard, So I've had to kind of deal with that in my own family members, but.
Fair enough.
The Beatles have taught me well.
What, if you're going to offer just some practical advice for other nurses, what would you offer in ways, what kind of advice would you offer for other nurses to be more affirming in their care?
Take the time to ask questions. Take the time to learn. Seek out those CEUs to address maybe some things that you're not familiar with. We don't know what we don't know, so it's kind of our responsibility to go learn it. And once you know better, you have to do better.
Yeah.
So we only do our best, and maybe our best is not 100%, but once we know better, then we need to do better too.
Sorry, go for it.
And just ask questions because a lot of people don't have family members, or maybe they live in a community where it's really shunned. And so they're just not familiar. They don't get firsthand experience with the queer community or transgendered people. And so they're really, I think cancel culture has made it really scary sometimes. Sometimes it's warranted, but a lot of times it creates fear for people to step into the uncomfortable things and to ask the uncomfortable questions, to learn more. Maybe they come from a really great place of, they really want to learn, but they're scared. And that can be really intimidating for people, especially if they live in a community that's not supportive of that.
So if somebody has that community, a family, they have family that are not supportive, they dead name their kids, they just call the entire thing wrong. How do you work as a professional in the field with a person when their community doesn't? Like how do you be affirming when they have community that doesn't affirm?
It's your responsibility then to be their extended family, because that's when they probably need it the most. So by asking questions, making sure that you are the one that is calling them by what they want to be called, addressing them how they want to be addressed. If they need assistance in any way, that you're the one that can help them find it, or do that, what's in your wheelhouse.
What about like when you're dealing with families though, right? You have to go talk with and maybe this isn't part of your field, I don't know, but you go talk to the family, tell them about the updates or anything like that, and they know someone as dead name.
If the name is on my chart and that's how they want to be addressed, that's how I will address the patient, even to the family member, because that's who I'm taking care of, is that person. So it's not a question to me. I don't know. That wouldn't be something I would second guess.
Yeah.
Even if they kept dead naming their family member, I would still make sure that I'm addressing them how they want to be addressed.
I love that. What about for trans people, non-binary people out in the community? How can allies and community members better serve trans people over medical situations?
Again, just learn. Seek out the information. It's there, but you really do have to seek it out. And I think that going out of your comfortability and speaking with people in the community and finding out what they want, what they find helpful, because ultimately it's not up to me to tell you what you might need. It's up to me to find out what you might need. And so really seek out, find those opportunities.
Right. I love that. And you hear that a lot with any marginalized community, that it's our job to go understand the marginalized communities to be able to better support them. It's not the marginalized community need or not need, but it's not their job to instruct everybody on everything. Although the information still has to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah, and I've met people of all over the community that have all kinds of different variations of how they live their lives. And you can't treat one and the same. So you have to ask, or you have to get to that answer somehow. Because just because someone, is non-binary doesn't mean that they want to be addressed or, have the same concerns as another person who's non-binary. So you have to address that person specifically, because every situation is different.
Yeah.
Every patient is different. You can have two patients with the same diagnosis and they're the same age and the same gender, and they are wildly different people and they need wildly different things.
Fair enough. Twins are different.
Absolutely.
Bear's over here cracking. Trans person is worried about coming out and talking to their nurse or their doctor about that, because they're maybe they don't have that affirming community around them, so they're really worried to talk to the doctor about that. Is there a message you can offer to trans people to give them hope, or I don't know, just some messages?
In my setting where I work, I'm the first person you see before you talk to the doctor. So my goal is to make you feel safe with me. So my advice would be in that situation would be, seek out someone you're safe with, seek out someone you're comfortable with, and let them, kind of guide you through the process, because having someone in your corner, having someone to help you through that might feel better to do that with someone beside you and not be alone. And you're not alone. At least in the community that I work in, with the people that I work at, I know that all communities are a little bit different, but many of us are totally willing to take your concerns and with a full heart make sure you get what you need. Whether that's talk to the doctor for you so that you don't have to address it, whether that's talking to your family members in a certain way, or maybe looking out, so maybe you're having to take off your underwear for your procedure because of the type of procedure you're having. Making sure that I'm communicating with your OR team that you want to be still covered with something, or whatever that might be. Find someone to be your advocate, stand up for you, because
I-
we're out there.
I know I've had experiences in the hospital where they do make you want to change everything, you know, and you go take it off, and it is just the worst thing ever,
Yeah.
you know. And I imagine even if you're cis, that's probably the worst thing ever. But having to be left in an area where you can't cover something up,
Yeah.
it's awful.
There are ways around it, and I've found ways around it. And usually all you have to do is ask, and we will try our hardest. Unless we're doing something in that area where it really is not safe to have it covered, or,
Yeah.
we will really try our hardest to make sure that you're comfortable.
Get the unisex underwear.
Yep. The mesh underwear.
They're awful. They're so bad.
Look like an Asian pair.
They're same on the front and back. It's awful.
They're really stretchy, though.
To a point. If you're fat as me,
One
you're
size
not-
fits nobody.
Exactly. You get to be my size. It's a thong.
Ouch.
Bear's over there still cracking up.
They come back a different color.
Oh my God. That's nurse joke right there. Nurse
So,
humor.
Yeah, I have a lot of nurse humor, and I forget that lots of people are not comfortable with that, like at the eating setting, because oftentimes I will just keep talking about things
So
and
this
people will
person-
stop eating, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, people don't want to hear about butt cheese at lunch. Okay. It's just normal for me. It's not even an issue for me. So. But when you deal with bodies every day, I think you become really desensitized to bodies. Everyone has a body. I deal with bodies all day long, and
Yeah.
it's a non-issue to me, really.
Yeah.
My job is to take care of you and help you take care of your body. And so whatever that need may be, it's my job to make sure that we can get you there.
I'm stuck on it.
I
I
am
am really stuck.
I tried to move on, guys.
You try. You can't hit us with
It's
butt
us.
cheese and then expect us to move on.
I love that we're all 10-year-olds.
It's us.
We're all 10-year-olds. When we first came in, you had a list of things that you wanted to go over.
Yes.
Have we hit on all of them, or is there some
So
stuff
we've
that we
actually
might?
done a really good job.
I just want to make sure we got everything that you wanted to talk
we
about.
did talk about the electronic medical records, and I kind of talked a little bit about the organ inventory. I have had an experience with a patient who was newly transitioning, and their chart wasn't updated.
Right.
And so they had expressed that they had wanted to be addressed differently than what was in the chart. And I just sat down and I said, what would you like me to update for you? I can change your name on there. We can change your preferred gender, and kind of walked them through what they wanted to address at that moment and what they wanted to kind of think on and leave for later. Because that might be different for everybody. Maybe they weren't ready to make a full commitment yet, and they were just trialing it out and see how it feels and it fits with them first before jumping in. Or maybe someone else has access to their records and they don't want that to be there.
So in that case, do you change your record if they're just trying it out, or do you just work with it?
It's their record. If that's what they want, yeah.
Fair enough.
So that was it was great to be a part of that, because it was like a light bulb for them. I can change that. That is an option for me.
Well, and it gets frustrating because I've had it where I've gone in and I updated it up at the front desk, here's everything. And then they go take you into the back room for a x-ray, and they dead name everything.
Yeah.
And it turns out like different departments have different records.
Yes. Well, and technology, as great as it is, isn't always instantaneous. So like, for example, we would print out schedules the day before. And so if you came in and changed it that morning when you arrive, we might still have information that would be outdated.
Yeah.
So we do the best we can, I think. And I'm really encouraged by a lot of what I've been seeing over these last 3 to 5 years, maybe, that we're going in the right direction, that we're starting to really not just be tolerant of the trans community, but be inclusive and make sure that we are giving them what they need, because it's a very unique medical experience for these people. And we need to make sure that we're not just being tolerant of it, but making sure we're wholly inclusive.
I'm just thinking back to a couple of weeks ago. I had that growth under my arm, and I go to see the doctor, and the doctor's like, well, we can cut it open and whatever, open it up, or we can just give you some antibiotics and send you on your way. And I'm like, I'd rather just get it out. I'm worried about it, that. And so he's like, okay, well, if we do that, we got to bring in an ultrasound and do that. And I'm like, bring in the ultrasound. I'm over here selfieing with the ultrasound. I'm like, where's the ultrasound? I asked him, I'm like, is it a boy or a girl? He goes, it's too early to tell.
Oh no, hopefully it wasn't twins.
It was. I was just like, I love you guys so much. It was the best thing. Was there anything
Hopefully
else?
you had people that you could giggle with about
Oh,
that.
I've been giggling up for ever since. Good. Well, I make jokes all the time. I'm like, guys, I'm pregnant. Pickles are like a major thing in my life lately where I'm like, I need pickles. And
It's got to be the fried coins, not the spears.
yes, because the whole spear comes out. You have to get the coin.
And
You
then
can
you're stuck with the breading in your hand.
I
Yes.
feel like we need a survey.
survey
Can we
says.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Are you team spear or team coin for fried pickles?
I would love that. I wish everybody would leave that in the comments. That would be amazing.
Yes.
Bear, did you have any other questions?
I just want to ask, do you think we'll see a day where we don't need trans woman, trans man, trans this, gender identities? Do you think we'll see a day where it's just this person, the man, this person, the woman?
Non-binary.
Yeah.
I think we can get there. I don't know if it'll happen in my lifetime, but I think we're going in the right direction, pending the administration.
Personal opinion.
I think that it would be a wonderful world. It does affect your medical care, though, because if you were born with a uterus, I want to know that, because you have different risk
Yes.
factors than someone that was not born with a uterus. Or if you were, born with a large set of mammary glands, that affects your risk factors for other things. And so I don't think we can wholly get away from anatomical birth stuff just because that's the reality of it. But I would love it if we could get to a place where we were more, this is who they are, these are the body parts they have in your medical record, and that populates different risk factors and different screenings you may need. So yes and no. I think we can get there slowly, but I also think that some of it is medically necessary to know, because it does affect your long-term health and your risk factors for certain things. And so,
would it
fair enough?
Would it make a difference, though? I mean, if we had the conversation 2-3 weeks ago with the medical researcher, right? And a lot of the body parts are the same body parts. They just, based on the hormones and genetics and whatever else, move into whatever the body does with it, right? So, I mean, can there just be neutral terms for body parts that work that way?
I would love to see that, but
It wouldn't work that way?
a born male is not going to have a cervix. And so there are some things that are gender specific to birth.
Okay.
However, if you have too many chromosomes, you can have a cervix and present male at birth. So
Right.
I think that this is something that's always existed. I think it's something that we are just doing so much research on now because we have the capability, and it's more out in the open. But I think that's always been a thing. It's always been a thing where you may have been born with too many chromosomes and you present male, but then you also, have other factors. So, yeah.
Are you up for a game?
Sure. Oh,
Ooh,
gosh.
game time.
I'm nervous.
Bear loves games.
I do. I love games.
Okay. I brought my buzzer
Okay.
with me. I brought
I'm
my
really
buzzer.
competitive.
Bear loves my buzzer.
I do.
Bear has to. Bear, you want to buzz the buzzer?
Make sure it.
Okay.
What the?
Wait.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I had to.
So I call this game Buzz for Bullshit.
Okay.
Okay. The way it goes is I'm going to go ahead and say a statement. If it's bullshit, you got to slam the thing, and then you got to explain your position as to why it's bullshit or not.
Or not.
Or not.
So I can hit it if
Oh,
it's
well,
not bullshit, and I
wh-
could advocate.
I get
Why
no.
it's not bullshit?
Let's start off with if it's bullshit, you hit it, and you call out why. And if the other person wants to defend the statement, then
Okay.
they can run that route. Okay, so number 1, pineapple belongs on pizza. Go for it. That's really loud.
She was so quick.
It's a fruit.
It's a fruit.
Name any other fruit that's on pizza.
Tomatoes.
Technically, yes. You're correct there.
Counter thoughts.
Oh, pineapple is, one of those versatile fruits that can go on pizza because of the sweetness and how it complements the saltiness of pepperoni.
Do
I
olives
actually
count as a
love
fruit?
pineapple on pizza. I just get really excited to push the buzzer.
Does she get a point for that? She just wanted to press the buzzer.
It was so exciting.
It was so exciting. Okay, next up. You can fold a fitted sheet neatly. No? Okay.
I
We
can do
believe
it.
that you can do it.
I don't do it, but I could.
I don't do it. We
My
just-
mother did teach me.
Corner to corner and corner, and it
See, I
makes a
I
square.
fold the corners in, but then I kind of square it out. So I fold it in like another 6
Uh-huh.
inches or so
Yeah.
and square it out.
Yeah, you just make a square and then get her folded.
It's hip to be square.
I love it. All right, next up. Cats are better listeners than people. No?
True statement.
True statement.
They hear everything.
I think
They
they
got
communicate
ears.
oftentimes by not even listening too. They just know. They just pick up. I heard recently that the frequency of a cat's purr is healing to your body. So sometimes if a cat comes up and purrs on you, they're healing you.
Vibration therapy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love
Extreme
it.
Reiki.
Okay, here we go. Number 4. Men actually can read instruction manuals. Bear was reaching for it. Bear,
She just wants to press.
she really does. Oh man, I feel like I got to come up with better ones because you guys. I see you guys wanting to slam it here. People actually love Zoom meetings.
Say again.
People actually love Zoom meetings.
I mean, pajama pants.
Oh,
I can.
that really
love-
confused me.
I love Zoom meetings because I can be in pajama pants.
I have to concur. That's,
I'm just sitting here like it's just another meeting. Like, why do I want to go to another meeting? Other than I like to talk, so I have no problem in meeting. Yeah, I know, crazy. You wouldn't believe
you
it.
like to talk? No.
And you can keep your carbon output 0, so that's kind of nice. You don't have to
Fair.
travel somewhere.
Fair enough. We're going green with the Zoom machine. You can fix a printer by yelling at it. Bear says yes. Or bullshit. Bear says bullshit.
It's still gonna be broken. It's still gonna.
But it makes
act
you
up.
feel better, and sometimes you figure out how to fix it because you yelled at it.
Sometimes I just skip yelling, and
Go right to hitting. Yeah,
we're just getting a new printer.
I call bullshit because I think you have to hit it a little bit.
give it the tap.
Give it the love tap.
Kick twice.
It's actually worked for me before, so I advocate for it when possible.
Okay.
Oh, okay. There are more fake flamingos in the world than real flamingos.
I've never thought about flamingos. It's not even a thought in my brain.
There are more.
Like plastic ones in people's
Yeah.
gardens? Is that what we're talking about?
Uh-huh.
I thought you meant the ones at the zoo were fake for a minute. I'm like,
Oh,
why would
those
they
are
do
real.
that?
What?
Can you imagine
They're
going
animatronic.
to the? Can you imagine going to the zoo and they're just
It shorts out when it goes in the water.
Government cameras in the wild. Flamingos. Keeping an eye on everybody. I wasn't sure where we were going, but okay, garden steaks. Okay.
You gotta watch them garden gnomes.
Yeah.
Those are the worst.
I don't even care about
See
the
their eyes
answer at this
following you
point.
when you're walking by.
Oh, that'd be so creepy. Ooh, no.
We dropped into.
We're now in conspiracy world.
We're in Scooby-Doo world.
I would take Scooby-Doo world over the one we're currently in sometimes.
Yeah. The laugh afterward went with it naturally.
Be hanging out with Shaggy.
I mean, fair enough. Your dad was a hippie, so.
Well,
Shaggy, you have a wonderful fragrance coming from you.
it's organic.
Leftovers always taste better cold.
I think it depends on the dish, actually. Oh, I want to press the button.
It's a half press because you're
I'm
just
trying
half
to think of a
agreeing.
good example.
French fries. You both reached for it.
At least it's not slapjack.
We should play slapjack. Or some, I don't know. I was.
At this table?
Yeah, it would be really loud.
Yeah,
I'd feel
it
bad for
would.
the listeners. They're just booms.
I'm going to say it depends on the dish.
I will agree.
People really like sparkling water. Wow, I really thought
They
that was
are
going to get a
popular.
buzzer.
Go ahead.
This is fun
I'm trying
watching.
to think of a good argument.
For the record, for everybody that's not here in the room, they are reaching for it like almost every question, and then they pause right before they hit it.
Yeah, because it's hard to generalize something like
Yeah.
that.
It's hard to generalize people because
'Cause
everyone
I-
has a different preference. I only like 2 flavors, so
And I
Oh,
do.
now I want to know what flavors.
I like the bubbly lime
Okay.
and I like the bubbly grapefruit because when it's really ice cold, it gives you a nice spicy feeling, and I love that.
There you go. They're like drinking
But I
Sprite
don't
really
like,
fast.
But I don't like the fruity ones.
No strawberry.
It lacks something for me. It just reminds me of medicine. Like it's trying to be a flavor, but it's like not quite the flavor. I don't enjoy those. Some people like them, but it's
I
just
had
not
a
my thing.
shot the other day that tasted like cough syrup, whatever. It was awful.
Are we too old for shots?
Are you ever too old for shots?
No.
My gastrointestinal system might disagree.
It's a trooper.
You only have to do it for a little bit.
It's true.
All right, last question. Dad jokes are actually funny. Wow, okay.
Yeah,
Bear says yeah.
it can be.
Tell me your best dad joke.
No.
No.
No. Oh, yeah. Put me on the-
I had one the
Why
other
did
day.
the bicycle fall over?
Wait, follow who?
Why did the bicycle fall over?
Fall over. No kickstand?
He was too tired.
Oh.
It's a good PG one.
I'm a little cheesy and corny. I'm that guy.
You're not
that's-
digestible.
Huh?
You're not digestible.
No.
Corny.
Yeah, no. I'm the guy that's like, someone says, "Hi, I'm hungry." I'm like, "Hi, hungry. I'm
gosh,
Bear."
yeah.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Why was the skeleton afraid to cross the road?
Ooh, why? I don't know why.
Oh dear. Afraid to cross the.
He didn't have the guts.
Okay.
Oh,
I was trying to go something with the bones.
see, we're laughing. They are funny.
Fair enough. I'm sorry we didn't get hit the buzzer more. I really thought I had some of the questions.
That was more scope.
She's getting it out. Saying,
That's
please
fun.
help me.
When you bleep on my bad words.
Well, that's why I originally bought it. Have you ever watched what's the show? I can't think of what it's called. Unnecessary Jimmy Kimmel, whatever they did, unnecessary censorship, and some of them are just so funny. And so I thought I got it to take to karaoke, and it'd be fun to just sing a song and then just start
Bleeping
bleeping
out.
but bleep out the parts that don't need to be
Like
bleeped
random
out to make
words.
people think different things.
It's
Right.
actually kind of clever. I like that.
Yeah, I thought it would be funny, so that's why I got it, and it just sits in my car in case I ever decide to do it. I haven't picked a good song to do it yet, though, but we'll figure it out. Anna, thank you, or Anna.
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 Anna. Wow, I am awful. Some friend I am. I'm over here. This is a friend of mine. I can't even say your name
It's
right.
harder when you're on the spot,
Fair enough. Anyway, thank you so much for coming. You came on short notice. You saved us. We had another cancellation, and fair enough. It wasn't really their fault. They got super sick, and it is what it is. But thank you so much for coming.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Glad to be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, you were really worried about not being able to take up enough time, but I think we did well with that.
Yay!
Half of it was the buzzer game.
We didn't get to push the buzzer quite enough, though, I think.
I want to push it again.
No.
He's disagreeing.
He goes, beep, no. Barry, you have anything else you want to add?
Just want to say thank you again. And I, I'm really excited that you got to share like your experience and, again, spread some more hope, and especially, identifying, as an ally and having your message, be broadcasted, I think is, really super important. More hope and more, acceptance. And, hey, thanks a lot.
Yeah, my pleasure. That's my goal, is to make it not so scary for people that might want to speak up or, be involved in the conversation but don't know how to initiate that. Just got to put yourself out there and try. And what you find is that 9 out of 10 times people are actually very kind and willing to talk with you.
And a lot of people are forgiving as long as you're trying.
Yes, the effort means way more than the mistake. If there's effort behind trying, then, we can hopefully have forgiveness for each other and some grace.
Yeah.
Life mistakes are not, excuse me. Yeah, life mistakes are not life sentences.
Absolutely. And like I said before, we're all living a human experience. And at the end of it, it's challenging for all of us in different ways. So we're better working together than being divisive. So
I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that. For anybody else that wants to come on the podcast, they can reach out to me, Daphne at transplaitingpodcast.com. Another thing is I've been working on the store on our website, and so we have stickers up there. We got some mugs going on, and so
we have merch.
I haven't bought any yet myself, but
I'm on the waiting list.
I've been slowly making things. Like, it's happening. It's just taking a long time because I don't know a whole lot about making websites.
Fair.
But so we have some merch starting to come out, so go check out the store. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. And I guess the last message we want to say is welcome to the family.